As you may have noticed, we streamed the countdown for update 3.4.0 for Forsaken and were pleasantly surprised by a new killer releasing. Nosferatu has been released and is currently available for purchase during the event using the Sukkar currency collected throughout the event. I'll cover everything within the update in this video, especially the new killer and his moveset. A new emote has been added. This is called Observing and costs 808 currency. A new map has been added. I will cover everything about this, including notable locations and hazards. The new map is called Bloodfell Manor and is themed around the masquerade event shopkeeper Nosferatu, with notable locations such as 4 killer doors which can be deemed hazardous, along with an outside courtyard with a variety of walls but minimal elevation besides the gazebo. Inside the manor is a little more elevated, having a large staircase in the centre with a drop down on either side along with corridors. These drop downs are subject to the stagger upon falling. The lobby has received some updated decorations again. Some notable changes are that the spawn location has been reverted to inside the larger cabin, the broken window has been removed, and a variety of foliage has been scattered around the exterior. Medkits can no longer be used by survivors at full health. Survivors curing another player's hemorrhage debuff now gain XP and currency upon successful completion. Survivors are prompted on how to cure the hemorrhage debuff upon infliction. Chance's one-shot ability explosions now generate a small AoE radius which can stun the killer for 4 seconds in proximity. Chance's coin flip now gains a small skew towards a positive result for every consecutive negative loss. But this bonus resets upon a positive result. Chance's reroll ability has been reworked, altering the way stacks behave. 1 stack now grants no bonus, whereas 2 stacks grant a 5% increase to the health value rolled, and 3 stacks grants a 10% increase to the health value rolled. Dusikar's Spawn Protection Shield will shatter instantly if protecting a player from lethal damage, instead nullifying the hit and granting XP. Dusikar's Spawn Protection has had the movement speed reduction increased to a 30% debuff. Dusikar's Spawn Protection per survivor cooldown has been reduced to 25 seconds. This means that a survivor can only be protected by Spawn Protection every 25 seconds regardless of the number of Dusikar players in the match. Elliot's Throw Pizza abilities had the total healing reduced, healing 5 health initially and 20 additional health over time, totaling to 25 HP. Elliot's Order Up passive increases the healing of Throw Pizza by +4 for every objective as opposed to a percentage-based scaling. This caps at +20 for a maximum bonus of 45 HP per pizza. Elliot's Throw Pizza now takes 5 seconds to grant the full healing as opposed to the former 2.5 seconds. Noob's Slate Skin ability now grants immunity to corruption while active. Shidletsky's Fried Chicken can no longer be activated at maximum health. Shidletsky's /hitbox has been moved 0.5 studs forward. Veronica's Activate Battery ability healing speed has been reduced by 50%. Veronica's Bumper Global cooldown has been increased to 20 seconds. This means that regardless of how many Veronicas are in the match, Bumper can only be used once every 20 seconds. Veronica's Bumper Knockback has been reduced by 15%. Veronica's Bumper Global cooldown no longer resets back to the full 20 seconds if a Veronica hits the killer while the cooldown is still active. Veronica's Skate Stamina Drain has been increased to 1.35 times. Veronica's Trick Stamina Gain has been reduced to 4 stamina. Veronica's Phase ability has been adjusted to speed 2 for 1.5 seconds. Veronica's Phase now crashes upon collision with a wall as opposed to rebounding. Veronica's Vandalism cooldown when the graffiti is destroyed by the killer has been increased to 10 seconds. Veronica's antenna on her model now light up while she's inside a graffiti zone. Upon Veronica activating Skate, the graffiti used to start Skate is briefly highlighted within 25 studs for both the killer and Veronica. Store Collect for Bilderman for 1,100, Yard Defender for Bilderman for 900, Pilgrim for Chance for 900, Really Rich for Chance for 2007, Combat Wizard for Dusikar for 1,500, Sacred Harvest for Dusikar for 600, Scene Core for Elliot for 700, Signature Recipe for Elliot for 650, Uni for Elliot for 400, Fuds for Noob for 1,000, Sly Fort for Shidletsky for 1,100, Street Stunter for Shidletsky for 300, Turkey Day for Shidletsky for 450, Rerun for 2-Time for 1,100, Nyan for Veronica for 1,200, Trickstar for Veronica for 1000, Subject_3 for 007 and 7 for 600. Guest 1337's Gene Skin has gained voice lines. Guest 1337's Gene Skin has had the price reduced to 900. Noob's Innovation Skin has received updated faces. Guest 666's Manic Fixation ability is no longer direction dependent for highlighted players within 30 studs. Guest 666's Stamina Drain has been increased to 9.5 stamina per second. Guest 666's Hemorrhage Infliction duration has been increased to 120 seconds. Nolly's Hallucinations can no longer interrupt a player's actions. Nolly's Hallucinations can no longer extend the hallucination debuff duration upon hitting a player. Nolly's Hallucinations can no longer push players. Nolly's Hallucinations now have properly sized, accurately positioned hitboxes. Nolly's Void Rush ability now starts on a 10-second cooldown at the start of the match. Nolly's M1 base range has been increased by 0.5 studs. Alongside these updates, a brand new killer called Nosferatu has been added. They cost 3,500 Sakars, have a variety of abilities and an average terror radius. Nosferatu's stats consist of 1,700 HP, a walk speed of 7.25 which becomes a sprint speed of 27.5, with 110 max stamina. Alongside this, his terror radius falls in at 60 studs. Passive 1. Levitation. Levitation means that Nosferatu does not produce footstep sounds, giving them a stealth aspect. Ability 1. Lacerate. This has a 2-second cooldown. Nosferatu slashes with his claws, dealing 24 damage. This has a wind-up of 0.3 seconds and a linger of 0.3 seconds. Lacerate also has a length of 7.5 studs. Ability 2. Bloodhook. This has a 20-second cooldown. This cooldown changes to 30 seconds if a survivor is hit. Nosferatu slows to wind up for 0.9 seconds before securing himself in place and throwing the hook forward at speed. If this connects with a survivor, they will take 15 damage before latching on and dragging the survivor towards him. Bloodhook will force both Nosferatu and the survivor into a minigame while being dragged, prompting the survivor to attempt to escape while Nosferatu resists their attempts. Survivors are less likely to escape this ability in close range. If Nosferatu succeeds, he pulls the survivor close and kicks the survivor away from himself, dealing 20 damage. This kick will inflict Nosferatu with slowness 2 and helpless. If the survivor manages to escape the hook, Nosferatu will be inflicted with helpless and the survivor will be freed. Ability 3. Cataclysm. This has a 25-second cooldown. Nosferatu will gain immense speed and turn invisible after a short wind-up. This invisibility leaves a trail behind himself to indicate his location. At the end of his path, Nosferatu will explode into a swarm of bats that deal 10 damage before returning to his starting point, leaving a trail that inflicts survivors with bleeding 2 and slowness 2 for 5 seconds if they come into contact with this trail. The trail has a lifetime of 12 seconds, and any survivor who steps in this trail is highlighted for 5 seconds. Ability 4. Hunter's Feast. This has a 20-second cooldown. Nosferatu releases a bat swarm that flies forward. Upon hitting a survivor, Nosferatu gains Invisibility 4 and Undetectable 1 for 10 seconds. While this ability is flying, Nosferatu can redirect the swarm once by recasting the ability. This redirection is a one-time use before forcing the ability into cooldown. Ability 5. Ascension. This has a 35-second cooldown. Nosferatu transforms into a bat, granting free flight across the map. By flapping his wings via pressing the spacebar, he propels into the air. Alternatively, hovering occurs when this button is held. During bat form, Nosferatu can dive by pressing the Lacerate ability button. Upon successful collision, he reverts into his humanoid form before biting down on the survivor's neck, dealing 5 damage and stunning the survivor temporarily while he winds up a throw. Once this wind-up is complete, he throws the survivor, dealing 30 damage. During bat form, Nosferatu receives a reduced terror radius and has his movement speed increased at the price of being unable to regain stamina within this form. This form can last a maximum of 10 seconds. Unsuccessful dive attacks will inflict debuffs along with failing to use a dive attack before the transformation ends. Nosferatu is inflicted with slowness 3 and helpless 1 for 2.5 seconds if either of these occur. Be wary that Nosferatu's M1 has a very noticeable wind-up, making it easy for guest 1337 players to react and block them. If necessary, you can swing away from a guest player to possibly force out a block. Remember that when using his Cataclysm ability that you will teleport back once it's over. Place your trail accordingly to force survivors to run into you as you teleport back. If you've played John Doe, Nosferatu's Cataclysm ability is comparable to John Doe in this sense. You can use it to create situations where the survivor either has to run into you or walk into the blood trail. When doing the Bloodhook minigame, it is very punishing to press the wrong key, so take your time. Bloodhook cannot go through walls, meaning it is more effective to use this in somewhat close range. Close range generally also means it's more difficult for the survivor to escape. Ascension pauses your stamina, so using it while at low stamina is not recommended. If Ascension forces you to reach 0 stamina, you will be disadvantaged due to the fatigue period before stamina regeneration begins. Landing the dive will result in you regaining stamina during the long animation, so use this to your advantage. Be mindful that Ascension can only last for a maximum of 10 seconds, as exceeding this time will punish you with additional debuffs. Ascension should be used when you're confident in your ability to hit a survivor. Missing Ascension can grant you debuffs which hinder your ability to kill survivors for a short duration, leaving you less time to work with. Ascension can be used after exiting a stun. Your stamina regenerates while stunned as any killer, so Ascension can be a great way to nullify the effects of a stun and cover large amounts of distance quickly and effectively. Survivors often fail to anticipate this play, making it an easy way to deal large amounts of damage. Hunter's Feast can be redirected while close to a survivor that may have evaded the move to unexpectedly hit them. Hunter's Feast creature's debuff makes survivors take 25% more damage. Because this ability has very negligible end lag, feel free to use it whenever possible if you're near the survivors. Hunter's Feast can be used to punish survivors failing to use their abilities. This is usually the case for guest 1337 missing block or Shadletsky missing slash. Hunter's Feast grants Invisibility 4 for 10 seconds. Typically Nosferatu can hit other survivors while under the effect of this ability without forcing a premature end. The effects will only end prematurely if the survivor inflicted with Oblivious is hit. Cataclysm can be used to block off areas or nullify strong loops by leaving a blood trail, forcing the survivors into a tough situation and making them more susceptible to taking hits. Try to use the 10 damage dealt at the end of the Cataclysm trail as a bonus damage dealer if you feel that Survivor may be able to avoid your blood trail. Blood Hook can be incredibly powerful at close range, as survivors find it more difficult to evade this ability, but also they'll be less likely to escape your grasp, granting you the opportunity to inflict an additional 20 damage. Nosferatu can use Cataclysm on crouch to split survivors up and deal damage to multiple survivors in a short time period. This can also be incredibly useful for Sentinels protecting players, as multiple people will be inflicted with bleeding too. Crew Leader for 1x for 500. Cool Kid's Blue Dude skin has gained new animations. Guest 666's Milestone 4 skin has gained new sound effects. John Doe's Screamer skin has received updated animations. John Doe's Toon skin now has voice lines. Slash's Combat Initiation skin has new sound effects. Slash's Killer Cars skin has gained new music. And that's all from this video. Nosferatu was a killer that few people were expecting, and yet his kit is interesting. I enjoy the flight aspect and find that he has fun ways to trick survivors into taking damage. Despite the fact Nosferatu consists of an interesting kit and is fun to play, the grind to unlock him was far from. I found myself struggling to gain the amount of Sakars to unlock him. I did a stream on Sunday the 30th of November where we made an effort to grind for 2 hours and earn only 300 Sakars, which is far from the amount you actually need, 3,500. Considering that Guest 666 was the most expensive previous killer and only took an hour to unlock them, it is very clear that the economy of the Halloween event is unfair to its casual players. The sheer, utter amount of grinding required for Sakars is a big wall for most people interested in checking out the update. Based on my grinding stream, unlocking Nosferatu under those conditions would take roughly 35 hours of playtime. This is ridiculous honestly and was a huge factor in the late release of this video. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, like the video, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I've recently been branching out from my usual videos, but I'm still covering all the updates as I go. Let me know your opinions in the comments regarding the current video direction, and feel free to suggest other ideas. You should consider joining my Discord if you want to be the first to know about upcoming content, suggest future videos, provide feedback, and even interact with myself and the community. I'd love to have you, and everyone is welcome. That's all from me for now, and I'll see you guys next time.